"You're a grown man with no family. What a failure," my dad said at dinner, while everyone laughed. I smiled and replied, "Funny, coming from someone whose rent I've paid for 6 years. That ends tonight." My father has always needed an audience. Growing up, he was the man at every cookout who told the longest story and laughed the loudest at his own punchlines. The one who coached my little league team, not because he loved baseball, but because it came with 15 sets of eyes watching him from a folding chair at the front. When my mother left him in my early 20s and took my 2 sisters to another state, he didn't call to process the marriage or figure out where things went wrong. He called because he needed somewhere to go, and I was the only option he hadn't burned through yet. I was 24, working a steady logistics job, renting a 2-bedroom apartment with some vague idea of a roommate or a future I couldn't quite picture. He showed up at my door with 4 bags and a story about temporary circumstances. That was 6 years ago. He never paid a single month of rent. In the beginning, I told myself he needed time to stabilize. He had lost his marriage and his home in the same month, and he was my father, and that counted for something. After year 1, I told myself the arrangement was simpler to maintain than the argument it would take to change. After year 2, I noticed he had stopped looking for his own place entirely and had started referring to my apartment as home in a way that included no quotation marks around the word. After year 3, I stopped telling myself anything at all and simply absorbed the expense like a fixed utility. One more line on the monthly budget I paid without discussing, and he received without acknowledging, year after year. After year 4, I realized this was permanent if I let it be. I let it be for 2 more years. He was not broken or grieving or building toward anything. He played golf twice a week. He kept a full social calendar. He was comfortable, and comfort had always been what my father moved toward regardless of who was covering the cost. I stopped bringing women home because it is genuinely difficult to explain a 60-year-old man watching television in your living room at 11 on a Saturday night. I kept most friendships at careful distance out of an embarrassment I couldn't fully name. I worked. I paid everything. He would sometimes ask what was for dinner. I never once heard him ask what the rent was or what the utilities came to each month. He never offered. He never looked at a bill. Last Sunday, his brother visited with his wife and their 2 adult kids, both married with children of their own. My aunt brought food. I bought the wine because of course I did. We sat around my table and the conversation moved the way these dinners do. School updates and travel plans and gentle complaints about getting older. My uncle asked me at some point, genuinely and without any edge behind the question, whether I was seeing anyone. I said not currently. My father put his fork down and said it loud enough for the whole table. "You're a grown man with no family. What a failure." Everyone laughed. Not viciously, but the way people laugh when the loudest person in the room says something and the silence that follows needs to be filled with something. The heat moved through my chest. I picked up my wine glass and set it back down. I smiled the way you smile when you have finally and completely decided something you should have decided years ago. "Funny," I said, "coming from someone whose rent I've paid for 6 years. That ends tonight." The table went quiet. My father's face moved through surprise, then the beginning of a dismissal, then something that looked almost like the first real recognition that he had no ground to stand on. My uncle looked at my father. My aunt looked at her plate. My cousins held the careful expressions of people who have just understood they are witnessing something real. My father said my name in the warning tone from childhood, the one designed to invoke a hierarchy that no longer had any foundation. It had no effect at all. After dinner, I printed a 30-day notice and left a copy under his coffee mug on the counter. He knocked on my door that night and said I was being dramatic and that family does not do this to family. He said my mother had treated him the same way and he'd expected something better from me. I opened the door, looked at him directly, and said 30 days. Then I closed it. He did not say thank you when he left. He was gone in 17 days, moving in with a woman he had apparently been seeing for several months, which answered a question I hadn't known I was carrying. I repainted the room the following weekend.